Hey, okay, this is scratch video number 2, DOS. Welcome. Okay, so do like a little recap of last week because why not? So my group, I'm in a group with Isla, Daisy, Mia, and Damaza. I love this group. Like we get on so well, we gel together really well. We're all friends, we get along, but when it comes to like practical, our ideas just mash together really well and it all flows. Like as soon as we get going, we are going. Like it does take a minute for like the first idea to come that we think is good, but as soon as that idea comes, we're like, oh my gosh, like it just goes, and then we get like loads done in actually quite a short period of time, which is quite handy when it comes to practical. Anyway, then we got given our stimulus of purple, which we didn't want, but as soon as we got it and then we looked into it, we all were thinking the same thing, which then led to us researching about the witch trials. And we are basing our piece off of the Colchester witch trials. Now I'm actually really glad that we've found a particular witch trial that we wanted to do, because then that gives us a good a setting, a time period, actual real life people to base our characters off of, and everything just went really well in that week. Right, so what we did this week, let's talk about that. Okay, so I actually feel like this week we done a lot, in our lessons, we did a lot of practical work that can go forward into some really good things, but I actually personally feel like it didn't benefit our group in any way and actually just made us feel like our ideas were rubbish, which no offense to practitioners, it was really good stuff that they were giving us, but it just didn't feel like it was helping my group in any way and helping us move forward with our ideas. That being said, so on our Tuesday session, we started off by creating a dance where we were given, what was it? It's two pieces of paper, and we labeled them 1 to 6 and wrote a body part, and on the other side we put something that could go with witches and dance, so hang, swing, things like that. And we had to roll some dice and create a little section of dance. This was actually really fun, and we had to create something really cool, but it wasn't what we were looking for. We want something more naturalistic, and not movement, because we actually feel like if we do it more movement based, then it will feel like we're taking a mick, and we actually don't want that, because we want to educate people and not give them a reason to make fun of our piece and say, oh, that was really rubbish, because we don't want that outcome. We want them to be like, oh, that was actually really good, it was really interesting, I felt so developed and involved in it. So it was really fun to do that dance, but it just didn't fit with us. It might fit other people, but it just didn't fit us. And then it's actually really good. We had to pass around 4 poems, where we wrote one line and then moved it on. So it's a little circle, and that was actually so helpful because it gave us, it's 5 poems, sorry, because it gave us 5 characters as well. So we looked at them and most of them were really dark and morbid, and then we had one that was just out of the blue, really happy, everything like that. And we were like, you know what, those could make really good characters, and really we could base our personalities off of these poems and give us those lines. So actually that was really, really helpful for us, and we're using them to help create monologues or pieces of dialogue for each of us. And then got to the afternoon where we played a game. So it was Dragon's Den, but we had to pitch our idea for our piece to our group, and then they got to ask questions about it. This was really stressful for us actually, because we had to go first, but we hadn't talked as a group beforehand what our formed plan was. Like we had a really good like rough idea, but we hadn't like formed it into words. So this was actually really difficult and just really overwhelming for all of us. Because we hadn't, like, someone asked, oh, what's the name of it? And we were like, what? Like, we didn't even think of that. And we felt so horrible after that. It wasn't fun. And then we had to explore our ideas in like a different genre. That was really difficult for us because we felt like they were asking us to like make it so that was our final piece, and we didn't like it. So we had to do like a group therapy thing. We hated it. It was awful. It felt really overwhelming. Like it just didn't fit anything of what we were imagining, and because it didn't get communicated that it wasn't going to be our final piece, we didn't like it. We felt awful, and we felt like our ideas were being pushed to the ground and being taken control of. But I think it was useful to look at things in other lights, but it just didn't help like move our piece forward. Anyway, on to a lighter note. For our theory work, I had to research why women got accused of being a witch. This is actually so helpful for us as well, because when we look at it, we can name characters, we can like help create and develop like character personalities and like why they're accused and help create them backstories. So that we had some good outcomes from this week, which is amazing. Okay, so we're gonna move on to like a massive lighter point of view on this. So a success that has come out from this week was definitely our theory work. When we have it all done, when we all looked at it, I definitely noticed that we all were looking at very similar cases in like areas of research, even though we had different questions that we were given. So it felt like that we were thinking on the same wavelength, and these ideas can really easily be put into our piece. But everyone's work was very in detail and felt very clear, and honestly it was very good, and it could all be pieced together into one long piece of theory work, which was really good and really helpful for helping us create characters and plot line and look further into like our period, like time period, which is incredibly helpful. However, a challenge that we faced this week was after we had finished finalising our ideas and putting into words so that anyone that could read what we had written would understand what we were thinking of. We were unfortunately told, like 30 minutes before our day ended, on our last session this week on practical to work on this, that there was already a play out there about the Salem witch trials that was apparently similar to our ideas. And that really incredibly threw us off. Like we didn't know what to do, because we were just so stuck on witches that we just couldn't think of anything else. But we looked into that play and we realised that it wasn't actually that similar to what we were thinking, and we've now decided that we're just going to keep on going with our idea, because we didn't even know about that play, so we're not going to be plagiarising it, we're not even going to look into it, we're going to just keep going, and it's going to turn out good, fingers crossed, praying. But we're just going to keep on going because we realised that it was just too late to turn back, because we're all too like overwhelmed with being told that. So we were just like, no, we put our foot down and we keep on going. And finally, key question of this video: why is research useful in terms of developing creative work? Research is actually really important when it comes to like the creative process, because it can give you a window into what your character's life was like during maybe the period or like the setting that you have chosen. So for example, my group, because we've chosen women going through the witch trials, my research was why women were accused of being a witch. This was really helpful to us because we could look at it and understand how careful women had to be, and then in our scene it could help us describe and help us show what we were feeling like regretful that we did something. So an example of why women were accused was because they coughed in church. That was flat out, you could not cough in church. You also could not be too sick to go to church because, oh, you're a witch. So you just, but at that time, women, everyone had to go to church every single day, maybe like even like 2 times a day, 3 times a day. So you just could not get sick, which again was really, really difficult back in the 1700s because medicine was not invented yet. They didn't even know what was going on. So you would be getting ill left, right and centre, and you'd be getting accused of a witch because of it, because science just wasn't around. But having research with you is also really useful because it can give you a leg up into what your piece could look like. So if you're maybe like stuck when devising and like maybe writing a script, you can go back on your research and be like, look, we could add this historical thing into it. So for example, we've looked at real life people and we decided that we want to tell their story. We want to incorporate them into us. So we looked at research into them, and we all did a bit of extra research to make them so that we can make it more believable. And we got a bit stuck on that, so we took some real life people and we've made them into our characters, which is really helpful. So yeah, that's Weekly Journal 2 all done.